All right, I think we're live. Tuesday Night Live, Eastern Outdoors Media. We've had people asking. We talked about hunting so much. People are like, man, the weather's warming up. We need to talk about some bass fishing. And so we're going to do that today. The Super Bowl of bass fishing happens this week, and we're going to talk about it. Let's give a little bit of time for people to hop on here. I think PK, is that you living on the land? I don't know if he can hear us talking.
I don't know.
I don't think he could hear us talking. I don't think he could hear us talking before we went live. I mean, we didn't say anything that mattered, but that's still kind of weird. Hopefully not. I don't know. Dude, it's been a crazy day on our page because yesterday I reposted a video. Jay, I don't know if you've ever been on our page or not, but I posted a video. If not, you need to check this out when we get off here. There's a guy. He's on St. John's River. Are you familiar with that? You fished there this year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was our first one. Yeah.
So this was last year. He catches a perch. He takes his pliers and he holds the perch and the pliers up like this, and an owl swoops out of a tree and grabs it out of the pliers. So when I posted that video yesterday, I think like 70,000 people had seen it, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Just like 1.5 million people have seen that video today.
Holy cow!
We've never had something. I mean, we've had things get over 1 million views, but never that fast. It's crazy.
I have a good story. There was one of the Elite Series guys in that tournament. Paul Mueller caught it was like a 13-incher, and he was kind of just like holding it in his hand and like working on the line. An owl came and took the 13-incher on his line and grabbed, like, an owl just swooped like right through his arms and grabbed it. He got it though, I guess. I don't know, this wild video he had on his Instagram or something.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Same place, yeah.
All right, well, we got some people on here. It's a little slow starting here. We'll give them another minute or so. I'm trying just to get on it myself. There we go. I'm going to share. Josh, will you share the video as well?
I did. I already shared it.
Bassmaster Classic. Mm-hmm. All right. Jimmy Carroll's here. PK said he's a little bit early. I can see y'all. Rick Crossley. I know we got some bass fishing guys that want to be on here. That's on here every week. The UK did just finish. Jay is from Wisconsin, which delivered the worst loss in the history of Kentucky basketball back in 2015 when we were undefeated and they beat us in the Final Four.
I remember that.
Oh, man, it was miserable. I'm still sick about it, honestly. I really am. Let's see here. All right.
I got a buddy, man, that lives up in Wisconsin, and is Mille Lacs in Wisconsin?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota, okay. So he went over to Mille Lacs and was fishing, I think. I don't know if it was like previously or what, but they were using a jerkbait and they were smacking the smallmouth.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good lake.
We'll go ahead and jump into it. Jay, Przekurat.
Yep.
Jay Przekurat. I forgot a second. Do people call you JP?
Yeah, sometimes. I get a lot of different things. Yeah.
So anyway, Jay Przekurat is here. Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. Not fishing in the Classic this weekend, but he is currently leading for Rookie of the Year. So Jay's a rookie. He's a young fella, and he's crushing. I think you're 16th in Angler of the Year. So you have 2 good tournaments. Why don't you just introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you, and then we'll start talking some bass fishing.
Sure, yeah. So my name's Jay Przekurat. I'm 22 years old. Nice. From Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which is pretty centrally located in Wisconsin. Pretty far away from a lot of the fisheries that we go to on the Elite Series, but I make my way down there, and yeah, this is my first year on the Elite Series, and last year I qualified through the Central Opens via the points race. I took second in the points race, and yeah, here I am already. It's pretty crazy. It's happened really fast. Ever since last October, I qualified, and all of a sudden I'm on the Elite Series. It's been pretty surreal.
Did you win one of the Bass Opens?
I didn't win any. No,
Okay.
I took my finishes were 17th, 7th, and 21st.
So good enough to qualify. So or good enough to qualify for these. I was just wondering. I looked it up earlier, and I couldn't remember if you had actually fished in a classic before or not. So you're hoping this year. I mean, you stay on track that you've started here. You'll be in it next year.
Yeah, for sure. That's my goal.
Yeah, awesome. So Josh is here with us. Josh is we love talking bass fishing. So this weekend, Josh and I are going down. You guys know we've partnered with Toyota, and we're going to go down and cover the Bassmaster Classic. We're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, but not enough time to do anything Friday. Be there Saturday, Sunday. After Friday, is half the field eliminated after Friday, Jay? Is that how it goes? It cuts to 40 and then it cuts to 10.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked into the classic, but I know that it's the first 2 days. I think it's full field, and then they cut it. It used to be like something like the top 20, and I'm not sure if they cut it to the top 10 now or not.
Gotcha. Okay, that may be it. So I think anyway, we'll be down there and covering it, talking to. I mean, hopefully there's some good. I mean, top world-class anglers are going to be in it this weekend. So, there's a lot of guys I'm wanting to talk to. Jay, let's just get this out of the way. Who is your, you're new, you're a rookie, but you're in the bass fishing world now. Do you have someone that you think like this guy is going to go down there and show out this year?
For the Classic in particular? I'd have to go probably with like a Jason Christie this time around again. Okay. He had really good success there. I can't remember what year it was, but he almost won there. And it seems like it's going to be setting up similar to the conditions they had that last time, like a warming trend. They got a bunch of rain. And I'm thinking, he'd be hard to pick against.
Josh, did you interview Jason Christie for your podcast?
No, that was Jason Lambert that I spoke to. Yeah, but hey, man, so I assume you're saying, because I've not really kept up with weather out in South Carolina, but a lot of rain and stuff, especially the warm weather. Water temps are going up. Is he going to be bringing out a Christie crawl and just flipping that thing over and over and over and over?
I don't know. The time he was there, I think he was throwing a chatterbait and some of that hay grass in the backs of those pockets, but it'll be some of both, I'm sure. Okay, flipping, moving baits.
So Jay, we already have a question for you, and I want to talk about the Classic, but Eddie's a big-time fisherman here in Kentucky. He runs some tournaments at Green River Lake. He says, do you consider yourself a shallow or deep water fisherman? That's a great question.
I consider myself a shallow water over a deep water fisherman, but I also do a lot of smallmouth fishing. We don't really consider it deep up here, like 15 feet of water when you can look down and see the bottom. I guess we don't really consider that deep up where we're from. So like anything deeper than like 20 feet, I would say is like deep for us.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So if you were fishing this weekend, you'd be back in the arms of the lake fishing shallow or.
Yeah, that would probably be my, just looking at it would all be considered on the weather and things like that, but yeah.
Sorry. Eddie said it's not Green River Lake. It's Barren River Lake. So, Josh, you got a fan, I think.
That's somebody I work with, actually.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it's somebody you work with or somebody trolling you.
What's up, Stu?
All right, here's another. Man, the questions are already rolling in.
That's
Jay,
fine.
What's your PB largemouth? We've seen.
Yeah, so I had day one of the St. John's tournament. So my first Elite Series tournament. On day one, I caught my PB. It was a 6 pound 1 ounce, which it's not a giant, but we don't have up here. We don't have the 6, 7, 8 pounders. So it was a 6-1 the first day. I went out the second day and I broke it again. On the second day, it was a 7 pounder. So my PB right now is a 7 pounder.
Oh, you'll beat
that's my largemouth PB, and my smallmouth PB is 612, which is just under the largemouth.
Dude, in April, man, in April you could definitely at Chick Definitely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
What have you seen down in Texas where someone just caught a 17-pounder? Today
Yeah,
they
that's
caught a
ridiculous.
16-pounder. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. Unreal.
OHIV. I mean, those fish are just. I mean, they're catching fish like that like once a day. Someone's catching a fish.
Oh yeah, it seems like every
like
other day
14
there's like a
plus.
14 to yeah.
That's crazy. Like I can't even imagine. Like the dude that showed the 17-pounder, he also had a picture of his kid on there. It's like a year old. I swear the fish he's catching is bigger than his kid. I was like, my God. So yeah, I mean, Wisconsin frozen over right now where you are?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so
we got they're driving trucks and stuff still.
Yeah,
So
it's just not as fun.
2-3 feet of ice still. Yeah, it'll be. I'm hoping it ain't May like it was a couple of years ago, where we lose all of our ice and it takes so long that process. But
Yeah.
at least I get to fish.
I'll say, man, you came down to Florida, and I assume you fished Florida way before you did this year. Is what I'm assuming. So what do you?
Yeah, once, but
comparing, now that you came down south and caught, most Florida largemouth, and then you've been way up north catching massive smallmouth. Which one do you prefer, being down south or up north?
Up north.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
My buddy from Wisconsin I was telling you about a while ago. He worked with me, and he fished Kentucky Lake, Chick, and he enjoyed it. But it was like he was transitioning from that northern fishing to catching largemouth down here, and he was like, "Dude, I just want to go back to Wisconsin and catch smallmouth."
There's such an addiction to it. It's like you can go out and just catch like 200, and it's just it's so much fun.
Smallmouth's the best. See, Rick says anyone catch any good sized bass in Law River. Rick, I don't know how many times I fished Law River Lake last year, but a couple years ago, dude, I was catching. I mean, I'm an average, below average fisherman, and like Josh, and just kidding. And I was catching good fish there, man. Like I was catching really good fish. I always say that I would take pictures of the fish I caught. I'd have I'd catch probably 10 fish, and maybe half of them would be keepers, or half of them would be 3-4 pounds. I'd come home. I was so happy. I come home, look on Instagram. My cuff would be catching like 8 5-pounders. So I wasn't catching the biggest fish there, but I was having a really good spring there 2 years ago. So, Rick, if you're close, I would go. Let's see. Eddie says, "Are you using Live Scope, Jay? What's your go-to?"
Yeah, I mean,
there?
I use Mega Live right now. I've used Live Scope the past 2 years. I mean, it's just a preference on what you like, what you're comfortable with. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, to his question, are you scoping? Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, whenever I don't know, it's a tool you can use when you're in 2 feet of water, and it's a tool you can use when you're in 30 feet of water, in my opinion.
Didn't they just come out with Live Scope Plus?
Yep. I think it's just a crisper image. Okay. Not really a whole lot different.
A little more money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Gotcha. So PK says, I want to know what's an all-around artificial you can use all year round. So I guess if you had one artificial, and I know that depends. I mean, if you're fishing for smallmouth, largemouth, north, south, what are you but is there a go-to? Like if you're having a hard day and you just not catching anything, what are you throwing?
A 4-inch green pumpkin Ocho Senko.
Wow. There you go. Let's say that's what I like. A little bad Ocho, man.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
People, some people give you a hard time for throwing a Ned rig, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, I mean, Ned rig, Senko, all the same. You could whack it. You could do anything with it. Weightless.
Yeah.
Put it on a head. Drop shot.
We talked to. I told you we talked to Mark Menendez quite a bit and done some stuff with him, and he said that a Ned rig is like the Snickers left over from Halloween. He said if you go eat 2 double cheeseburgers and there's a leftover Snickers from Halloween, you're not just going to let it sit there, right? It's your snack.
Yeah, right.
He said that's what a Ned rig is. You can throw, a crankbait all day, a Cinco all day, flipping all day, but then you throw that little Ned rig out there, sometimes it'll catch you one. Do you know where the world record smallmouth bass was caught, Jay?
Yeah, wasn't it Dale Hollow, I think?
Yeah, it's in Kentucky, though. Kentucky. Yeah. Dale Hollow splits Kentucky and Tennessee, but Kentucky holds the record. So you don't let anyone tell you differently, Jay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, we're going down. I was talking to some people earlier. Have you seen people getting into this fantasy bass fishing?
Yeah, that's been crazy, the amount of people.
Have you got anyone that said, dude, you ruined my tournament?
Not yet, because I haven't done too bad yet.
Yeah, you've done
I haven't had
well.
anybody that's ruined it.
So listen, guys, if you're in the comments and we've got a kind of a slow audience tonight. Like, I'm kind of disappointed. I think people saw we were talking about bass fishing. They're like, deer season's over. I'm so we gotta do better than this. But Dylan says he's headed to Dale Hollow at the end of the month. Can't wait. I guess the end of the month, end of March is maybe a little later than some guys go down there, but golly, they should be hitting pretty good then. I mean, most lakes are really catching at the end of March.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Not here, but by you
what
guys.
Was it say?
Right.
You may have already answered this. I'm not sure. I know that someone had asked your best largemouth. So since you grew up catching smallmouth, what's your biggest smallmouth?
Oh, hold on. He already answered that.
Yeah.
612.
612, yeah.
Okay.
612.
I actually caught it last May in Sturgeon Bay up by us.
Okay.
Did now Wisconsin? Is it Lacoste, Wisconsin, where they have a lot of the tournaments going on?
Yeah, that's just where they can hold bigger tournaments, bigger venue, more water. They've had a couple of elites there, and they're going back there this year for the last one, actually.
Yeah,
that'll be exciting.
It will. I mean, that's always a big bag. I've never fished like that's part of the Mississippi River.
Yep.
Like a lot of the good lakes, like you got the Tennessee River, all those good lakes on Tennessee River. I'd imagine the Mississippi sets up a little differently, though.
Yeah, we have 3 separate pools we can fish there. So we're based out of pool 8. We can lock up to 7. We can go down to 9. It's a lot of water. It's also been getting a lot of pressure the last 2, 3, 4 years. We have a lot of local tournaments out of there. And August, that time of the year, sometimes if the water is really low all year and we don't get a lot of flow through there, those fish get beat up pretty hard and the weights can be lower. So we'll see how it goes this year, though.
Yeah. So, this time of year, I'm looking here, people asking about the Great Lakes, asking favorite time of the year to fish. But you are brand new to the Bass Elite Series, right? 22 years old. Man, what's it? Is this what you've always dreamed of doing? Is this like surreal to you that you're making a living fishing now?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's what I wanted to do. I didn't know that it was going to happen this fast and that I'd be able to jump on the Elite Series. Like from last year, I thought I would just be, going back to my job that I've been working, and I just finished up school. And, but yeah, just having the chance, I had the chance to do it. And obviously it was a short turnaround and there was, reasons maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should wait another year. But honestly, when you get the chance to do it, it's hard to turn back because you don't know how many years it could be until you try and qualify again. That stuff only happens once in every, God, who knows? It could have took me another 10, 20 years to qualify again. You never know.
Well, and look, you're already proven yourself. You finished 14th last tournament. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
14th. I think I don't remember, like 33rd, maybe the one before that.
33rd. Yep.
So yeah, I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
2 $10,000 checks. Is that the most you've won in a tournament?
Just about. I won. I actually won 2 co-angler tournaments fishing the Bassmaster Opens, and those were about 20 grand a piece. Yeah.
Nice. So, what were you doing? You said you'd have to go back to your job. What was your job outside of fishing?
I still actually am on their list for working there. I just haven't been there because I've been on the road, and I just got home, and now I'm turning around and going to the Classic. But I'm actually a part-time mechanic over at a local auto shop.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So anytime you just need some extra gas money, you can just go work on the car.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to think of what that shop is, and I think it's up near La Crosse. It's some boat.
Team Marine. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Marine. So my buddy actually works there now, and he loves it up there, man. He loves it. I think he got on there back in this past summer or maybe in the fall. And it's funny because I've been looking at buying a bass boat, and I'm just like asking people. I talked to Mike Huff and a couple other guys. I think Jason Lambert, Menendez, and was asking their opinions. And then I'm just watching YouTube videos, and Team Marine Service keeps popping up. So I keep watching his reviews.
Yeah, they got good videos.
They're all over there.
I think his name's Andy.
Yep, I think so.
I kept watching his videos, and I found out it was from La Crosse, and I was like, I asked my buddy Jackson, I was like, dude, have you ever heard of Team Marine Service? And he's like, dude, I got a job up there in the fall. And I was like, quit lying. I was like, whatever. And then next thing I know, he's working up there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Crazy.
What do you so down south, have you fished, and I'm trying to remember everything that I've heard already. I assume you fished smallmouth fisheries in the south before?
Yeah, I mean a few. I fished like Cherokee.
Okay.
A couple, nothing crazy really. I mean, I can't remember what other smallmouth fisheries south of there. There ain't really much. I've been fishing.
Yeah. Tennessee's kind of that
kind of the line.
Yeah.
Pickwick. I fished Pickwick.
Okay. I was talking to Bradley Roy. He fished up north on, I think it's St. Lawrence up in New York, and had a great finish. And this was last year. And I asked him because he's from Kentucky and he fishes like Lake Cumberland and a couple other places. And I asked him, I was like, around here, if you ask most guys if they're fishing for smallmouth, it's, Ned rig or a drop shot or something of that nature. Do you see a big difference between fishing up north for smallmouth and south for smallmouth? Would you say like your typical guys are using like those Ned rigs and drop shots, or do you kind of switch it up? Or is there a difference in how you're catching them up there compared to the south?
I don't know. It seems like the fish down south are more like shad orientated than the fish we have. Like we don't have any shad or any of that kind of like forage. And it seems like sometimes those fish down south, like when I fished that Cherokee event in the fall, it was like we were catching smallmouths off the bank that were suspended like 20 feet off the bottom, which for us, that's, we don't have that luxury up by us to chase smallmouth that are like suspended or things like that, because we more have like a goby forage base, crawfish. We have some like alewives on the Great Lakes, just some more crazy things like that. But yeah, down south it just seemed like, take out the springtime of the year, most of that's similar. But like once you get into that like summer, fall, winter, it seems like they chase bait more than they do up by us. They tend to stay more consistent where we can target them a little bit easier up here rather than my example would be like a Cherokee.
Right. Yeah. Cherokee, I fish there. My uncle fishes there all the time. And I went out with him striper fishing, and we went out at like midnight and was catching alewives. It was almost miserable because it was just so long. It was fun. We was up all night catching alewives. And we went out at like 6. We caught alewives for like 6 hours. 6 o'clock, we go out and start striper fishing. But dude, we could not keep the smallmouth off the alewives.
No way. Huh.
To catch the it was ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, and that's probably out in deep water, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we were probably in like 30, 40 feet of water, but they were suspended at like
way up. Yeah, isn't that's the craziest thing?
Yeah. Jay, I got a question for you. You're new to the, rather new to tournament fishing at the pro level, at least. I don't know how long you've been doing it. You can get into that. When you're going to some of these new places, if you were going to Hartwell this weekend and you never fished there, I know you got some practice time to get in wherever you're going. Like you said, you're going to pre-practice some at Chickamauga. What's your approach before you get there for the first time? Are you breaking down maps on avionics? Are you, watching YouTube videos? I know you guys can't like call and talk to locals or anything like that. There's some things you can't do. So what's your approach to that, to breaking down a new lake, coming in with a list of spots you want to hit and practice and then taking it from there? How do you do that?
Sure. Yeah. So our rules are based on, as soon as the tournament schedule gets announced, we cannot get any info from anyone, but we can receive obviously anything that's out to the public, like YouTube and things like that on the internet. But basically my breakdown of it is I look at recent tournament reports, nothing crazy, maybe a couple of years back, similar times of the year. I'm sure most people do that. And then just looking at like weight, things like that. And then I'll look at 3 separate maps. I'll look at the regular Lake Master, I'll look at Navionics, and then I'll look at Google Earth Pro, and I'll go back. Sometimes I'll go back, seeing if there's a drawdown, things like that. I only do that sometimes because sometimes I can burn you just because the lake can change over time and, weather events and things like that. But we have a lot of resources nowadays, like on YouTube, like you mentioned. I think YouTube and like just videos in general just give you an idea of what it's like to be on the lake without actually being there. I mean, to a certain point, right? I mean, you don't want to just put your boat in the lake and be like, okay, like, am I going to go left or am I going to go right? You want to have a general idea of like what area you're going to start in or what area of the lake you think is good for that certain time of the year. Now, when we're going to Santee, I'm not going to be able to pre-practice. I'm going to have 3 days of official practice. And my breakdown of that lake right now is to pretty much hunker myself in on one big spawning area that I can hopefully find in the 3 days of practice and pretty much hunker in there and fish the whole tournament in there. Now, I mean, that lake's huge. I mean, it's like the top lake and the bottom lake, Moultrie and Marion. It's ridiculous amounts of water. And I've heard navigation out there is like terrible. Like just getting to an area is the struggle once you get out of the boat lanes because it's just like a flooded forest. Yeah. And so, I mean, my breakdown of that lake right now is basically just to do more fishing than running around. I think that's one thing people need to take in consideration the most. Everybody wants to see everything and get around, and there's always these best spots, certain parts of the lake. But honestly, sometimes just putting your trolling motor in and just straight up fishing for 7 out of the 8 hours of the day is you're way better off, just because you learn more about what fish are doing, what stage they're in. Even if you just catch a couple 2-pounders, even if you could find something on the day of the tournament and what stage those fish are in, and you've seen areas that look good like that. I mean, that would be my biggest tip of advice. Just keep your trolling motor in the water and keep a line wet.
There you go. Yeah. And it's more fun than just trolling around reading graphs all day too.
Yeah. Especially in the spring.
Now, what do you do when you've been on 2 tournaments so far this year? What do you do when you're in a spot, it's good, and then you see like Hank Cherry or Gerald Swindell, somebody with a big name, they're not a rookie, they pull up, not too far beside of you. You getting aggravated? Are you like, dude, this is my spot? Are you turning into Iaconelli? Like, what are you doing? How are you handling that?
I handle it pretty. I don't try to get in anybody's way.
You don't just pull up the motor and leave, though, right? You're not gonna do that.
I won't leave. No, I won't leave. Like, for instance, actually at Harris Chain, I was fishing an area and I like fished into this area and turned the corner and there's John Cox. He had been fishing in there for 4 or 5 hours already. Yeah. I mean, at times like that, it's like he's probably worked this area pretty good. I should probably get out of here and find something new. And then there's times where like somebody, will come in and start fishing 100 yards from you. Honestly, it's no different than the team tournaments here at my house. Like we have smaller lakes, a local team comes up, pulls in on you a couple 100 yards away, 100 yards away, whatever it is. Honestly, you just got to keep your head down. And I mean, you could worry about, it's basically, you just have to worry about what you can put in the boat. Cause at the end of the day, what they have in the boat and what you have in the boat is a completely separate deal. You can't worry about other people. That's the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah. No, you're right. Control what you can control.
Yeah.
Eddie says, did you get your start in tournament fishing in high school, college? How'd that go for you?
Yeah, so we started a high school team my junior year, but I only got to fish high school for about a year and a half. So realistically, and we were way up in Wisconsin, we didn't have all the luxury of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Like some of them have down south. So I think I only got in like 3 or 4 high school tournaments. And then I went to a technical college, so I did not get to fish in college. But my substitute for college was to fish as a co-angler on the Bassmaster Opens for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that was my learning curve. I got to fish like 10 different bodies of water down south, and that was pretty much my college fishing.
There you go. I mean, that's, I'm sure the college experience is great, but when you're hooked up with a pro and you're fishing, you're learning. I mean, if you fish 10 different tournaments as a co-angler,
yeah,
you're learning from someone every weekend. And you won 2 of those events, right? Which
I did, yeah.
Yeah, that's
have you hit situations before though? Because I mean, I assume you definitely prefer to be the boater rather than
yeah, I know. I know what you're gonna say.
Have you had those situations?
Oh yeah, I've had. There's like 3 or 4 that I can look back on. That's just like, you give or take. It is what it is. I mean, you're gonna have those situations as a co-angler, but out of every time you're with somebody, you can always take. Say you get 6 guys, you can in 6 tournaments you get 6 different guys. Plus 2, you get 12 days on the water, full days on the water on the opens. You're going to take at least something from at least, I'd say, half of those guys. So like 6 pieces of information. Like 2 of the, looking back on my days as a co-angler, I got paired with Brandon Cobb one day and Patrick Walters in another tournament.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, just those 2 alone, just taking small bits of information from them throughout the day, even though, it wasn't the best day on the water, it was still, something that I could take and use.
Yeah. I've talked to guys on both sides of it. I've talked to guys like you. They're like, sometimes, man, you get paired with a boater who, you're wishing they'd do this and they do that. But I've talked to guys who've been a boater and they second guess themselves because they have such a good co-angler back there, who's experienced. And so, for me, if I was a boater, I'd be like, hey man, what do you want to do? Let's do your thing. It's not working out for me. So here's a good question. Isaac Kent, good friend of ours, said, would you rather fish one big bite with big baits or fish for quantity of bites? So you need at least 5. But are you swinging for the fences, or are you just trying to put numbers in the boat?
No, I'm doing the numbers game. I'm more of a numbers guy. I like to catch 40, 60 bass in a day, and then hopefully have the hopes of, out of those fish running into 1 or 2 bigger fish throughout the day. I just feel like my averages are better.
See, that's how I feel. If you catch 40 fish in a day, you're going to get a few good ones, at least. But now, Josh, you would take quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, I'm a quality guy. Most of the people watching already know this, but there's some small fisheries that I hit around my house, and
they're good.
You don't really catch a lot of numbers, but like if you catch, like I think it was in April or May. Me and my wife had went, and our best 5, like we fished from daylight to like 9 a.m. Like it was like 6 to 9, and by 9 o'clock, we have like 26 pounds in the boat in our best 5. So it was like, it's great, but that's all you're catching.
100 acres.
Yeah. Once it hits like 9 o'clock, it's over. Like you're not catching any, like you'll get 1 or 2 bites. I'm a quality guy, but if I'm going out for fun, just trying to, sometimes I like to go out and challenge myself and try to catch just big fish. And then sometimes if me and John are going and we're going smallmouth fishing in one of our creeks back here in the backyard, like I know days me and him went out and caught like 80 fish in a day, and that's always fun. But man, I'm quality. I'm a big quality guy.
Yeah. Sometimes though, I don't know, is it difficult to keep up with? I'm kind of going back and forth here in my mind because I watch both Bass and MLF. But for you guys, is it difficult to keep up who's in first place, the score tracker, or I guess you guys call it the Bass tracker? You don't know that live, do you?
No, we're not allowed to see that. Yeah, so we're not allowed to look at the Bass track or anything until the day is over with.
Yeah,
And
but
then,
if you go, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm good. You're good.
So if you go in, let's say you go into a tournament, and in your mind you think, okay, if I can hit 15 pounds each day, I'm going to be right in the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
And you have a couple hours left. You have 5 fish, but you only have 11 pounds. So you know you need to cull. You need to catch something bigger. Are you going to something, a bigger bait? Are you upsizing? Are you trying? Or are you just sticking to the game plan?
Usually stick to the game plan. I mean, if all else really is failing, like if I didn't have like anything, or if I wasn't actually catching, if I had 11 pounds, obviously I'm catching some 2-pounders.
Right.
Usually I'm sticking to the game plan, maybe just different areas.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not a huge believer in like bringing out the biggest, baddest baits for the biggest bass. I think sometimes just keeping it simple. I just believe it's, in my opinion, I take the same baits I use up here, the same stuff, and use it down south. I just feel like it's all area and like, weather dependent and things like that. Is my opinion on it.
Fish what you know, I guess.
Yeah, right.
I
Fish
mean,
what you're confident in.
Yeah, you see some guys, especially the older, more veteran guys. Man, it don't matter the situation; they just don't get rattled. They just keep casting, and those are the ones that usually. I mean, you got some that when you can just see the frustration. They start getting short with the camera guy, like you know what I mean, or the marshal or whatever, and you're like, okay, this guy's getting rattled. But some of them, like KVD, is one. If you watch him, and he's an MLF now, and I guess that's not really competition, but it's the opposition. I guess.
Yeah, it's just the way. Yeah, just the format you prefer.
I've seen him. It's like, okay, KVD, you got 5 minutes left, and he's 18 pounds back, and he's just like he started, man, just casting, cranking that bait in, and and then you got guys like I mentioned, Akinelli, who's going nuts, and then he'll hook into a 2-pound, and he's like, it's a giant.
Akinelli's my guy, though, man. I love Akinelli.
He's fishing out of a kayak this week.
Listen, when I watch football or when I played football or whatever, we score, like I'm pumped. I love that he is just as pumped about catching a 5-pound bass as he is, the winning touchdown at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like I love it, man. He pumps me up.
I wish he was fishing this weekend. He took last year off, which killed me. I hate it because I would watch whatever he was doing, and
I'm sure he'll be there.
I hope. I don't know. He's fishing.
Oh, he'll be there. I'm sure.
He's fishing out of a kayak right now. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, he's fishing the kayak classic or something like that.
Yeah, he's fished a few of them. I don't think he's won either of them, which that'd be cool. If you're a kayak fisherman and you beat Mike Akinelli, that's something to brag about.
Kind of off the. I mean, it's still fishing related, but more of John was talking as you go to different fisheries, and you've never been there. What do you do before to kind of to know what to do, what to throw, and all that. So one issue me and my buddy Jackson kind of ran into at Kentucky Lake was navigating water, like just being in the boat and driving around, knowing when to go 70 and when to go like 5 miles an hour and bring the motor up. Because I know there's Kentucky's really bad for, they have the buoys out for the channel or whatever, but dude, Kentucky Lake, like right in the middle, all of a sudden you'll have a sandbar that goes to like 3 feet. So is there something you do, or do you just kind of know? I know that might be a crazy question, but it's like
some guys just have a feel, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Safety is obviously one of the number one things when you're trying not to, because obviously, I mean, we only get 3 days, so if you spend half that time idling around just trying to navigate to an area you want to go look at, I basically do it in my head. Like if I tell myself that if it's going to take me that long to get there and it's that sketchy of a run just to get to that area, I'm probably not going to put my time in there just because, even though maybe it has the potential to have a nice bag, there's always other places that are, that I obviously maybe would know better or are safer options to get around. Right. I mean, depending on, obviously it's different for all the lakes, like a Santee that we're going to. I haven't actually been there yet, so I couldn't tell you how bad it actually is going to be. Maybe I'm bouncing off the stumps going 65, but
dude, listen, Chickamauga, I don't know how high the water will be at Chick, but that place has claimed a lot of propellers. So
yeah,
you gotta watch.
Potential. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's a risky take, though, right? I mean, it's
yeah, it is, right. I mean, sometimes it's just what you got to do to get to the fish.
Yeah. How many?
Josh W.O. says Lake Barkley's worse for navigating than Kentucky is. You've been there?
I'm sure, man. I'm not like an expert on Kentucky Lake or Barkley, but dude, I swear, it's ridiculous. Like you'll be out
when the weather's bad out there,
out in the middle of the channel, like just going like 60. And Jackson would completely almost cut the motor off. He's like, dude, it's like 2 feet right here. And I'm like, dude, we're out in the middle of the lake.
When you're out there and the weather's bad on Kentucky Lake, I'd rather just troll all the way to the boat.
Dude, it's
too scary, man.
It's probably not even. I mean, I can imagine on other fisheries, but dude, that place gets like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, 15 miles.
You guys, 3-foot waves, yeah.
It's terrifying. It really is.
Oh, fair.
Have you fished Kentucky or Lake Barkley, Jay?
No, I haven't. We have some lakes that are similar to, getting rough and stuff like that. I've seen some real bruisers.
Oh yeah, you're up towards. Do you fish Lake Erie or
Surgeon Bay? Yeah, the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it gets like.
Yeah, we fished in some not 6-7 foot waves. It's not. It's not anything I want to talk about. It's not fun at all.
Dude, I went to my favorite fishing trips when I went to Lake St. Clair. Have you fished there?
Yeah, been there.
Great smallmouth fishery. And I actually met up with a guy who's from there. I met him through YouTube. He found our channel. I found his. And he's like, yeah, holler at me when you come up here. We'll get together. And, dude, we were out there. And, I mean, I was sitting there, like, nervous. Like, I was driving. I mean, I was probably only going 45. I was nervous crossing that lake. I mean, we were just hitting and bouncing and water crashing in. He was like, man, this is an easy day. This is an easy day. And I was like, not for me, bro. Like, this is, I'm about to park it and go home.
It's rough.
It was a different animal right there, man. I mean, you get to St. Clair and you look out and you think you're on the ocean. Like, it's
pretty much
as far as you can go. I know it's, the Great Lakes are bigger, but it's crazy. So, but it's fun.
I'll tell you, watching you up at St. Clair though, the videos, it's like I've never been up north and fished myself, and I beat the banks, man. That's what I do. I'm from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I beat
Not
the
there,
but dude, I was seeing the videos and I'm like, dude, what are you casting at? Like,
there's no. I mean, the structure. We're just trying to find sand bottoms. There's grass everywhere. The whole lake has got grass. He's like, okay, when you find grass with a sandy bottom, we're good. And we did pretty good. So anyway, so Jay, here we go. It said if you had to bring, all right, PK's I think going to get into fishing a little more this year. He's a big time turkey hunter, deer hunter. He said if you only have 3 artificial lures, so you said a net ocho, what would be the other 2?
It would have to be. Trekking makes a jig called the structure jig. It's just a 3/8 ounce jig. Okay. I'd pair that with a Menace trailer, that and green pumpkin, just a green pumpkin jig, 3/8 ounce. That'd be my second. And then my third would be, that'd be tough. Probably, depending on if you're looking at more down towards you guys, that area, like Tennessee, Kentucky, probably a chatterbait would be my third. And like green pumpkin or black and blue, maybe a white.
So I take it you're pretty basic on colors, like you're not doing anything crazy.
No, I'm a firm believer in, like, actually all through the last year, the Opens and this year the Elite Series, I've used one color in 5 of my last tournaments in the Opens and the Elite Series. Well, I've used green pumpkin the whole deal.
I'd say there's probably a lot more guys like that than you think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Welcher, I seen a video of his, and this was years ago.
Who is it?
Kyle Welcher.
Kyle, yeah.
He's a young guy too, coming years ago.
Yeah. So it was when I first moved to Campbell, because I just found some of his
probably videos. 4 years. Okay.
So it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and he was with his wife or something, and they went to her dad's house, and they wanted to go fishing. And he was like, "Let me see your tackle box." And he opens it up, and it's like just every color that you can think of. And he's like, "Dude, all you need is black and blue, green pumpkin, watermelon, and white. That's it. Like 4 colors, dude."
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And he basically like threw everything out of his tackle box. They went to Walmart, got what he needed. And since that video,
and probably crushed it.
They did, and I've literally bought those 4 colors for the past 2 years, and I'm like, one, it saved me a lot of money, and I catch it. Like,
it saves you a lot of headache. Just that goes back to the point, like when you say you're going to a new body of water, you're like, oh man, like what should I throw? Like what color should I throw? Like, I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, if they ain't biting a green pumpkin jig or a black and blue jig, they probably ain't gonna bite. Right. I mean, if it's shallow in springtime, I mean,
yeah, you're right. I think you're right. You know, Kyle Welcher, one thing Josh and I have talked about him is when you watch him, it's like if you put a penny in the water, he could hit it every time. Like his casting is so accurate. Is that, you know, I imagine that's one thing that sets apart, you know, the pros from average guys like us. Like if I'm wanting to skip under dock, it may take me 12 tries. You know what I mean? But some guys do it the first time. Do you think that's like a big, I mean, it takes a lot of practice, you know, different angles and things. Is that a big difference in like your level of competition and just your average weekend warrior?
I would say just because we get an 8-hour day, say you make, you know, your casting, it takes you 1 cast instead of 5 casts to hit a place. Right. You know, you save 4 casts out of your day. That's 4 more casts times 8 times that you've done it. You know, you got, I don't know how many more casts, as many casts, good casts as you can make in one day. And then that goes to like when you're fishing, like you're on your electronics, like when you pair up 360 and Mega Live and you want to hit a rock pile that's 40 feet out, instead of now, you know, we used to have to guess when we'd throw out and maybe it's, you know, somewhere in this general area. Now you can watch your bait hit the water and you know it's exactly 40 feet out and on the line is straight in front of your trolling motor. So it's just so much more detailed now to where like there's no more wasted casts.
Yeah. So I'm guessing are you more of a finesse fisherman, I guess?
Yes and no. I mean, when I have to be. Like when I know up here, like for smallmouth, it's just easier way to catch them, in my opinion. Right. You can catch more of them faster than you can, you know, like when we're fishing out in 12 feet of water and there's a little rock pile with a log on it or whatever. It's faster to catch them on a spinning rod than it is on a bait caster, in my opinion.
Yeah. But that's what I was asking if you preferred a spinning rod or a bait caster. So yeah, that's why I was asking. I figured you were more of a spinning rod guy.
Yeah.
I prefer spinning rod just because I like to fish finesse. And I'm just better with it. But
especially up north, man, anytime you're watching you guys and you're up north,
it's a drop shot.
Almost everyone has a spinning rod in their hand, but then you'll have a select few, especially like your KVD guys they're just power fishermen and they're
cranking all the time.
Jerk bait, like a jerk bait every time.
Yeah.
So
it's just what you like. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, it's always tricky when we talk to guys like you know, you ask them a question and they're like, well, it depends. It depends on the lake. It depends on the time of year. It depends on the pattern. You know, but it seems like the guys that like to fish with a spinning reel, you see them with a spinning reel, you know, a lot of the times regardless.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's just, you know, how you grew up or what you're used to. Or do you remember days that you were just out in your backyard with a bait caster, just trying to hit it in a cup or trying, you know?
Yeah, we used to do that whenever it'd get warm enough outside.
Just
I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not ashamed to say that I still do that. So
yeah, right.
You know, when I set all my stuff out before, my biggest worry is I just don't want the dogs or cats to get hooked. You know, like I set all my rods and reels out, and like, you know, I make sure I test them out, make sure they're good, and I put them all in the corner, and I'm like, man, I really hope one of the pets don't get into that. You know, like you got a big skirt.
Man. It ain't my dog. It's Nathan. He'll just see that hook and he's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And then he wants to go grab it. You know, and I'm like, "Dude, I told you 50 times." Like,
hey, one of the biggest fights our parents had was, I don't know how I did it, but our dad had a fishing pole on the porch and it had a hook on it, And all I remember is walking by and getting hooked. Like, I don't remember walking by and touching it. I was probably like 8 years old. I walked by, and somehow that hook ended up in my arm. And my mom was furious. Dude, she was so mad at my dad because I had a hook in my arm.
Before, Jay?
No, I haven't been hooked past the barb yet. Man, somehow, I don't know how.
It's my biggest fear, Jay. My biggest fear in life is being hooked. Oh.
You know it's going to happen so quick, though.
Oh,
like, it's going to hurt, but it happens so fast. Like, you're just going to be like, shh, crap.
It's not getting hurt. It's not getting hooked. It's getting it out.
Getting it out.
It scares me.
True.
PK is sitting down there that he grew up spearfishing. And I was going to ask you about this earlier, and I think it's in Wisconsin.
Sturgeon?
Lake sturgeon. I think that it's either just happened or it's coming up. The spearfishing season.
Been going on, yeah.
Have you ever partaked in that? Have you ever done that?
I haven't, no. But I know a lot of guys that do. They set up the shanties and put they put like this white X on the bottom because their water is kind of dark. And then when one comes in, you can see it cross over that white X, and they sit there with the spears, and you get like one tag every, I don't know what it is, but a lot of guys, I mean, they go pretty hard over that stuff. They sit out there for days.
I seen the THP guys doing it like last week in a video, and it is like it skyrocketed to the top of my list. I was like, I've got to do it. Like I've got to go up there and do it.
I listened to guys talk about it on a podcast this week, and I mean the way they talk, like you miss way more than you hit.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, but it'd be hard. All right, Jay, we got about 8 minutes left, so let's do this. When you're not fishing or working on cars on the side to earn some money, what are you doing?
Probably either I like to hunt.
Okay.
It depends on obviously time of the year. I mean, I used to do a lot more hunting than I did. Well, than I do now, I should say, just because I've been so busy with the fishing schedule. But I mean, we gun hunt. Unfortunately, I missed it this year, but I like to do bow hunting more than gun hunting. And up here in Wisconsin, we have some pretty good areas to go after. I mean, I think my biggest buck I shot was like 3 years ago. It was like 145 incher. But I mean, it was a good deer, and I've had chances at bigger deer, and I want to get into the woods more than I have been. But just the fishing schedule has been busy.
I guess turkey hunting is almost out, isn't it? In the spring.
Close. April, yeah.
So I'm saying you really can't turkey hunt.
Yeah.
Because your schedule.
Yeah, that's the problem with the fishing schedule. It just kind of overtakes all the opening days and seasons, and
I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean I'd rather fish than hunt probably right now.
I don't blame. That's exactly what I was going to say, man. John knows I'm a big fisherman and I like to hunt too. But dude, if I could fish every single day,
I would
sure. Probably sell all of my hunting equipment.
Just same here.
I just go back and forth. Like right now, deer season's over, turkey season's not here. I'm like, man, I want to fish every day. Turkey season, I want to turkey hunt. As soon as it's over, I want to go right back to fishing. You know what I mean? Like whatever the season is, that's what I want to do. You ever bear hunt in Wisconsin?
Nope, never have.
That's what I want to do. Bear hunt. We have some black bear here in Kentucky. Not as many, not even close as many as Wisconsin. So it's limited, but that's at the top of my list. All right, other than hunting, what are your hobbies? What are you doing? You have a girlfriend? Are you married?
I do. I do have a girlfriend.
Okay.
Hanging out with her is probably in between. I've had such a crazy schedule. It's like I come home and spend as much time with her, when I'm home, and then obviously get ready for the next tournament. But that's pretty much been my life, is hanging out with the girlfriend when I'm home and doing fun things on the side, and then going and fish tournaments, and then going to the Classic. And I actually just finished up. I did a seminar down in Madison in Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my first seminar. So that was really cool. And just getting to meet a bunch of people. And it's been a crazy last year.
So the girlfriend's supportive of the bass fishing lifestyle.
Yes, very much so.
All right.
She's very supportive of it. And
we're not going to say which would you choose, but we know.
I get it, man. Like some of the other anglers I've talked to, I've asked them like just the balance between family life and the fishing life. it's definitely not easy. Like you're constantly gone. And I know some of the anglers, they either bring their wife or their or whatever with them, but I know that can't be easy because they have lives too that they're living. So it's a hard balance.
Yeah, it's hard because she's in college and she's gonna be finishing up college next year, and she plays hockey too. So it's kind of
cool.
It's pretty hard to
you are, Jay.
Yeah.
God, I wish I played
yeah.
Hey, listen, man. You keep cashing those checks. You ain't got nothing to worry about there.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You're good. You keep cashing them. All right, man. I appreciate it. What do you got coming up? You're going to the Classic, and then what do you guys have?
Yep, I'll be at the Classic starting on Friday, and then right after that, I'm going to be hanging out in South Carolina and then getting ready for the Santee event, which starts on the 17th. And then after that, I'll come home for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then head over to Chickamauga. I think that's one of the first weeks in April.
Yeah.
And then we got a little break after that. We don't start back up until later in May. So that's my schedule right now. And hopefully things start to unthaw up north before when I get home after that April tournament.
Are you still fishing some of the open events too?
I am not. No, I decided to stick everything into just the elite tournaments this year. Just focus on that. And then actually me and my team partner are going to do 9 or 10 tournaments just around home.
That'd be good.
Just weekend tournaments. We've always done them, and I don't want to just say I'm not going to do them because I'm fishing the elites now. I've always liked to do those tournaments. So
those guys will be glad to see you come back.
Right.
So you go down and win Chickamauga and then take a break and go and beat the local guys. You'll be doing good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Listen, man, we appreciate you. I know you I just asked, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning, I asked him to come on. And because we were going to have a college bass fishing team come on and they didn't work it out. So I was like, I want to ask Jay because we had talked before that about coming on. So I appreciate you. Look, Josh and I will be down there Friday night, Saturday morning. I guess you'll be at the expo, so
I'll look for you guys. Yeah.
Do you know what booth?
I'll be Strike King Lou's booth, and then I'll be Minn Kota Humminbird booth a little bit.
All right.
And then I'll just be walking around,
good
talking to people. Yep.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you. We'll see you this weekend, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Everybody tuning in. Next Tuesday, we don't have a guest lined up yet, but we'll try to mix in a little bit of turkey hunting with some bass fishing to keep everybody happy. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Have a good night.